It's our number one strategy for converting let only to fully managed. We're going to talk about how you can transform your agency's lead generation. We are all looking at social media. We are all at some point checking in, having a sneaky look, and off we go. It seems to be where a lot of the buying purchases are being made now. And so if you're doing leaflets or banners or things like that, just think about it. Most of the stuff now is coming via social media, is coming via online. And that's what we're going to talk about here. We're going to transform through optimization lead generation by building your marketing machine. Now, I'm all for hands-off businesses. Don't know if you know this about me, but I run 5 businesses, okay? I have 2 letting agencies. I have a white label management center. We manage properties for letting agents across the UK. Then I have an ad agency, so a company called Agent Marketer. We run ads to drive traffic for letting agents, to letting agents just for the funnel marketing. And then finally, Agent Rainmaker is where I spend 100% of my time. So what I'm trying to say that to you here is I like to build machines. Write this down, please. You want a business that runs itself. The definition of a good business is how good it runs when you're not there. So just like anything, you want to build a business machine. It starts off by building a marketing machine. A marketing machine shouldn't require your input every single day. A marketing machine should be you almost set it up and leave it. Now, of course, you can't completely set it up and leave it. You have to make sure there's people in place that are going to do stuff for you. But you set it up, you leave it, and you just drop in. And once a month you do. The way I do is I go and make a whole load of videos, that gets transcribed, that gets turned into emails, videos, blogs, all that sort of stuff. And I just do that once a month thing, and then I'm free, I'm hands off. So I'm going to talk to you about how to build a marketing machine. Here's the thing, we're going to talk about funnels. Who can you target with a funnel? Now, here's the number one problem for letting agents in the whole history of marketing for letting agents, and I've been around 34 years. They only ever market to landlords, all right? Landlords wanted. They don't work, all right? They just don't work. But here's the big problem. They see landlords all as the same. So they just advertise for landlords. But let me ask you the question. Would you agree with this? Landlords are very different. One landlord is very different from another. For example, there is a landlord who hasn't bought a property yet. So we call those investor landlords. They want to buy. They want to get on the ladder. They want to invest, but they haven't yet. Let me just make you aware of this. They are not going to click your offer for a free valuation. I know it sounds stupid, but I actually found one of my members of staff offering an investor landlord a free valuation once upon a time. I nearly had a coronary. It was just like, what? They haven't even got a freaking house. So you need an offer for that, okay? So investor landlords. Number 2, you've already said you've got landlords selling. Landlords that want to get out, landlords that want to escape the market, or they just want to offload a couple of properties. Write that down. You want landlords that want to sell. You then also have landlords that are let-only landlords. They don't want to use us. They want to do their own management because their mom's down the road and she can take care of everything. I'm sure you've met this landlord, by the way. My mom's down the road. She's going to take care of everything. Yes, of course, she's 82 years old. What does she know all about the HHSRS and the Homes and Fitness Standard? Anyway, we'll have a field day with that another day. But yes, we have the let-only landlords who want to do their own management. Okay, so that's 3 types of landlords. And we also then have the landlords. These are landlords that have got a tenant that's not paying the rent, causing problems. They can't cope with it. The HMO compliance has come down on the councils are on them. They've had a fine, they've had a penalty, whatever the case may be. And then we also have vendors as well, just people wanting to sell. They're not landlords, but we have vendors. That some of us will do sales, we'll have vendors. We will also as well have fully managed landlords. They are a traditional bread and butter market. However, all of our marketing is aimed at fully managed landlords. We are ignoring most of the market. You know, we've been doing these free valuations now for like a ridiculous amount of time. We've got to start to look at how we can market to specific client types, okay? And what that means is we have to create, number 1, write this down, a service for that specific client type, which is not a free valuation. We have to create a hook, as in what's your offer to get them to come to you. And we need a conversion tool, which is what we call the funnel. And if you do that for specific client types, honestly, the world will be very different. So I want you to write this word down, specificity. The more specific you can be with your marketing and your funnels, the more they will work. The more generic they become, the less they will work. Now, I first came across this about 12 years ago, and it was void letters. We used to do a generic one. Hey, you're here at Concentric, we're blah, 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 we're great. Arla represented, everyone's fantastic, come and join us and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And we'd get something like 1 in 200 landlords would call. Then we started to make them really, really specific. And we would say, we've got a tenant, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, real tenant, I'm just making stuff up here, but at the time it would be a real tenant. They're doctors at New Cross, they're looking to move into the Wensfield area, they've noticed you've got a property on the market at $950, they're looking to pay up to £1,000, please give us a call, quote this reference number, blah, blah, blah. We would get a 1 in 20 response, from 1 in 200 to 1 in 20, because we were being specific, very specific. And as soon as we went back, we got a tenant registered in Wensfield, we're back to the 1 in 200 again. So, specificity. The more specific you can be, now void letters don't work now because everything's renting so fast, but when it comes to funnels, specificity is absolutely the key. Second word I want you to write down, congruent. If you run an ad saying, are you looking to invest in property, it sounds stupid, but the funnel they land on doesn't say, do you want a free valuation? It needs to say everything you need to know about buying a property insert your town. It needs to be congruent. I see so many ads that are not congruent with the landing page they land on, therefore the offer. So if you've got an ad saying you want to buy properties in Wolverhampton, you land on a page, everything you need to know about buying properties in Wolverhampton, and then when it says book a call, don't put book a call with one of our compliance experts. They don't want compliance. They want an investment expert. It's got to be congruent all the way through. And if they're booking the call with sales at, that's wrong as well. It needs to be investment at email or Sally at instead of investment at, but not sales at. Congruence is really, really important as well as specificity. So with those two things in mind, I'm going to talk you through some of the different ways that you can generate a different type of lead for your business, serving different types of customers. Once you've got your various funnels in place for your different types of clients, then what you will do is you'll create a 12-month marketing plan, okay? You don't want to be advertising the same thing every month because you'll get ad fatigue, so you want to rotate it round a bit. We do webinars every 12 weeks, and we have done since 2020. Before 2020, we did seminars, but webinars are much cheaper, much easier, and you get nearly 10 times more people in the room, so really, really good. We love webinars. But you need to create an annual marketing plan. The big problem for letting agents is we're still a bit hit and miss. It's just like, we just do what we do. We come in and we just see what happens. We're not structured in our marketing, and we need to be structured and have that plan. You need a specific CRM to capture your potential clients' prospects' details and to email them. Write that down. It bamboozles me that letting agents don't have this. Every single business in the world is data capturing now. Who's noticed when they go and buy something in a shop, they're now asking for your email address to email you the receipt? Drives me mad, but what they're doing is data capture. Same as when you try and log on Wi-Fi in the airport, data capture. Letting agents, we don't need data capture. Of course you do. Who doesn't want a database of 10,000 landlords to call? Of course you need data. So we need to create a prospecting CRM that we can start to capture all this information, and email marketing is really, really key on generating those leads, those calls, and getting that business in. All right, so let's have a look at what sort of funnels get what sort of results. Webinars. We all know about good use of time. I don't need to teach you that. As business owners, we will go and spend an hour to an hour and a half with the landlord one-on-one on a property. And yet on a webinar, you can get 2, 3, 4, nearly 500 people on a webinar for an hour and a half. Or you can go spend an hour and a half in that landlord's house with him on his property. Which is the best use of time? Of course, it's the webinar. So the purpose of this webinar is to, write this down please, let them know what they don't know. All right, they don't know they can get a £30,000 fine for failing on the HHSRS. We've had loads, I'm sure you've had the same, HMO landlords that don't even know they should have a licence. Oh no, my property's not a HMO. Yes it is, it's 27 rooms. No, it's not, no, because only one person in each room. No, you've misunderstood completely. This is a HMO. They do not understand what a HMO is. So our job is to tell them what they don't know. And here's the great thing about webinars. If this doesn't convince you webinars, I don't know what will. Most of the clients we get from here are portfolio landlords. They're sitting there on a ton of property thinking they know everything. Yeah, I'm fine. And then they realise they've got like 25 potential £30,000 fines, failing orders, gas certs not done, deposits not registered, whatever. all of a sudden they're bricking themselves and they are saying, can you help me? And as yet, sure, no problem, we'll charge you, but we can help you. It's our number one strategy for converting let only to fully managed. We've had 2,000 landlords registered on our database coming from webinars. We've had over 98 property instructions so far. They are absolutely phenomenal. And a lot of those instructions are multiple properties, which is really cool. Our best ever webinar was November 22. And it's that one where we had 457 people booked on. You will have about 50% of the people turn up on the night. So if you have 400 booked on, 200 will attend. You can then turn it to evergreen and you'll have people watch it afterwards. We had about another 50 odd people attend virtually. And from this event live, it's an hour and a half webinar, 37 booked calls to speak to us during the event. 37. Now that gives you another problem in itself. You've got to handle those calls, but 37. That led to, in the immediate month after, 1 sales instructions, 2 lettings instructions, a portfolio review with 4 properties, a 40 property landlord meeting, a 20 property takeover, let only to fully managed conversion, and 5 off-market acquisitions instructions. Now, 1 year later, we can track over £50,000 worth of revenue we've made from that one webinar. Now, the question has to be asked, what could you do with an hour and a half that could do better than that? I've spent most of my time in the marketing world. I'm in numerous syndicates and events. I'm over to America and all over the UK, hanging out with marketing guys because that's how I learn this stuff and then implement it to come and teach you. And one of the big things they say about webinars is it's really difficult to keep people engaged on webinars. Apparently there's a big drop-off. Now, that isn't the case with our letting agency webinars. This is a screenshot of people online. You can see how it just stays the same. This is 2 hours, a 2-hour webinar. There is no drop-off. People will stay online. Why? Because you're giving them free training. They will stay till the end, which is absolutely unheard of in the marketing world. So this is phenomenal. It just shows how really well they work. Even if you don't do the speaking yourself, get someone else to the legislation update. Run a webinar, for God's sake. They are absolutely phenomenal. All right, next, I want to talk to you about off-market properties. So what you need is investors that want to buy. Write this down. You're going to charge them 2% plus VAT for introducing them to an off-market property. Now, it's off-market because it's not on the market. Okay, so you've got a list of landlords wanting to sell. You have a list of landlords wanting to buy. You get the buying landlords to sign a contract, so they'll pay you 2%. Now, we launched this at the beginning of 2022, and in the first week of marketing it with an ad spend of £10 a day, we had 177 investors register in the first week. 177. Now, it did even out after that. And 10%, 17 booked calls. Those are the ones you're going to get the contract signed with. They're going to become your VIP buyers. They're going to be the ones that you're going to introduce to the landlords who want to sell. Do not let your landlords instruct your sales team. Do not let your landlords go to an estate agent. You need to keep your landlords in-house. Find another buyer, have a nice new fresh landlord, tenant stays in situ, everything's hunky-dory, you keep the managed services, nobody has to suffer from landlords selling. And that was marketing it on and then not marketing it for 3 months, then marketing it for 3 months. There was about 6 months worth of marketing there. 936 investors registered. That's pretty awesome, over 6 months worth of marketing. All right, now the next problem you're going to have is because you've got 936 investors registered, you're not going to have enough landlords selling. So we created, rather confusingly, we should have come up with a better name for it, but hey ho, it is what it is, the on-market property funnel. So we've got the off-market to get landlords wanting to buy off-market, and we have the on-market for landlords wanting to sell their property to an off-market investor. Now, at the moment, it's really quite difficult in sales. We've all heard that, it's difficult to get instructions, it's difficult to get sales, and it's difficult to get them over the line for various reasons. This blew me away. We launched this the middle of last year. In the last quarter of last year, our Wolverhampton branch had 38 vendor instructions in 3 months. That's absolutely phenomenal. And that's just the on-market funnel. Vendors coming on free, first of all, for 6 weeks, and then they trip over to be normal standard vendors and the normal fee. Pretty awesome. So 3 examples, webinar, on-market and off-market, 3 examples of how funnels can completely transform your business. And what we're seeing is a lot of estate agents are really interested in this funnel because there's a way for them to get instructions on. Just by slightly tweaking the services, it's a great way to get more instructions on. Compliance checklists, all right? Landlord's compliance checklist can work really well with the right marketing and the right lead generation. We can generate quite easily around 100 leads a month on a £300 ad spend. £10 a day should be getting you about 100 leads per month with this. It is phenomenal at converting let only to fully managed if you get the scripts right. What you don't do when someone comes through this is offer a free evaluation. You have to have a script where you take them through the compliances bits and what they might be missing. You're going to explain to them fines and prosecution. You're going to convert that into an appointment where you then go through taking them over from let only to fully managed. You go from 4 or 5 leads a month to 70 leads, you've got a new problem. You can't speak to them, but managing them all, calling them back. I mean, it's a good problem, but it is a problem. Because all of a sudden you need people that have time to call these people back or to do the scheduled calls and things like that. Now, as time passes, you'll find a way to do that. But initially, it's just like, I can remember the first month I ever turned funnels on for our Wolverhampton branch. It was in 2019. I made a big mistake. I put 4 funnels on at once for 4 different character types, 4 different landlord types. I switched them all on, and poor Ali had something like 800 people register in his first month and like dozens and dozens of calls. And it was just like, turn it off. And I'm like, no, learn to deal with it. He hated me. Anyway, we did tone it down and we calmed it down. And what we do now is we recommend most people start off with 1 funnel, write this down, start off with 1 funnel, get it up and running, run that for a quarter. Once you've got it right, you've got the ads right, you're getting the right return on your ad spend, you've got someone proficient with converting the leads and doing it right, and you've got a bit of a machine going, then switch your second one on. All right, and then go through the same process again with the second one because it's a different technique, a different service, a different script, it's a different client type. Then when you've got that ready, then switch your third one. So you should get through 4 in a year if you stick to about once every 3 months and you actively make it happen, but don't switch 4 in at once. It's a bit scary.